How's it going, everyone? I'm back with a new video, and today I am pretty much just giving like a basic rundown of like money investments and money saving tactics uh, for one main reason. That's because I don't like scalpers, but just simply telling them, oh, scalpers, no scalping, isn't going to cut it, unfortunately, because people are still going to buy from them. And now, it could help the problem a little bit by convincing people to stop buying from scalpers. What'll help more is convincing scalpers that, there's better options to make money than the bullshit they're getting up to. Am I cooking or am I not? I'd like to think I am, at least. So, yeah, if I do a good job on this video and you think I explained the tactics I'm going to list pretty well, give a like and subscribe. Yeah, that's about it. Roll the video. Okay, so the first main tactic I'm going to mention for saving and investing money is going to be more on the thing of saving money than anything. Uh, just because I want to get this out there, because let's be honest here, using tactics to save money, then to like save money on the main spending that you make every month is something that can help you a lot financially, and that is with credit cards, but specifically proper spending with with good cashback credit cards that give good cash back on things you already spend money on every month. So, like, say for example, I spend a lot online on retailers that are based in the US. So, I have the Amex Everyday Blue credit card, I think it is, that gives you 3% cash back on exactly that. So while it isn't a lot, uh, it's $30 saved every month on my end from the over $1,000 I spend on these things per month. So $1,000, and then I get $30 cash back. Add that up, it's like 360, yeah, like $360 saved over the course of a year, which isn't a lot, but yeah, it, like mixing this in and being responsible with cashback earnings while just doing your everyday spending, uh, just with good cashback credit cards that give good cashback bonuses for things you already spend a lot of your money on, is something that can really help you out financially. I hope I'm getting my point across, because it, while this isn't like a big money maker, shit, it's like it's an amount you can use to either just say, like, to shorten your next billing statement by like that amount, or putting it towards a savings. But still, it's cash back, so, which is technically money being saved with every dollar you spend. So yeah, I just found it like a bit noteworthy to mention. Noteworthy to mention, but like, if you don't really want to follow this, then I guess you don't have to, because it isn't really the biggest money making method out there. It's just a money saving method. Okay, on to the next one. Now, this next method is still technically on the saving aspect, but one that's a little bit more money giving in terms of returns. And that is getting high yield savings accounts and just simply any free dollars you have, and don't feel bad about just keeping in one of your banking accounts. Just put into a high yield savings and watch it give a decent amount of money back on returns every month, and that's pretty much it. Just like um, you can get a crisp 20 or a crisp Andrew Jackson, if you will, uh, every month for like with $10,000 in a savings account. If you uh, do it with any banks, then have at least 3.3% APY. And while don't get me wrong, that isn't a lot of money. Again, that's just from having your money in a savings account, just from keeping it there and just letting it sit there. It's very simple, but it gives money that you didn't have before. So it's worth mentioning, even if it's not the biggest money investment out there. And that's the next two, and the only other two I'm going to mention in this video. But we're going to skip past that fact. These next two are the main like money investments, but it's also because they do have a little bit of risk to them. But anyway, let me get to them anyway. Okay, so this third section is going to be explaining about the stock market, which is a little bit uh, complex, but a little bit simple at the same time. I don't know how to explain it in a way that's good, but just know there's parts of it that are um, definitely complex, and then there's parts of it that are simple. Simple in the form of explaining how exactly the investing and return parts of it work, though. But I do need this chart that I have on this notebook I also have with me. So, whenever you look at the stock market and you see things, pretty much see the stock history of a company, you see a chart that goes up and down, things like that. So, pretty much, you know, downward slope means that it's going through a bit of a rough patch in terms of its stock, or at least sometimes a dip might be a bit lower, so it just means it's a rough patch compared to how it was just recently, or something like that. But either way, down equals bad. But there is a good thing to come out of it, so I will then explain that in a second. But good is, whenever it's going up. That should be relatively simple. Hopefully, you're getting that. But anyway, you know, stock is pretty cheap to invest in whenever it's in the downward spiral, and then a little less cheap whenever it's at the top. Even if it's investing $5 at this point and investing $5 at this point. But let me explain that. So, in terms of stock differs depending on when you invest it more so than anything. So, like, if you invest $5 at the very tippy top right here, that $5, if they have a slope that reaches this far, that $5 will become like just a dollar. It will not become it will become significantly less during a large dip if you're investing during a large spike. But here's where the good comes in terms of investing. If you do it during the reverse of that, seeing a company during a large dip, a decline, if you will, if they see any amount of a large spike, however much money you put in there becomes a hell of a lot more than whatever you invested. And that's part of like what the huge gamble of the stock market is, because like if you can get a company at the lowest you can realistically invest at, and then dip out whenever it reaches the highest you can see it at, um you get so much more than whatever you invested. So, like, say, for example, I mean, it probably wouldn't be too much if it was just $5, but again, it would be some. You know, I don't want to say any definitive numbers because I don't know how much it uh, sways and how much the multiplier is or number change is, but just know, invest during a dip, see it become way more than whatever you invested during that dip if you catch the company at a spike, the same company you invested at, that is. I hope I explained that correctly I because the stock market is a really good way to make money and invest money. You just have to invest at the right time. You have to, I did that off camera. You have to invest at the right time and then cash out at the right time, pretty much. I hope that was explained good. Anyway, I'm going to cut off this segment so I can explain the final one. That is probably more giving if you're less on the lucky side, if you're less on the gambling side of money investments, more on the direct side. This next method will probably be the one for you since it is less risk taking. Well, unless you go through like a rough patch financially, in which case you'd maybe need to take out the money from this thing. In which case, well, then yeah, there'd be a risk in there. But you know, this next part, it doesn't really have much risk. If you do money that you're sure you're not gonna miss for a little while, then that money you'll just put away at something and not see it for a while, and then have it become a lot more um, and a time later. But let's get into explaining that now. Now, this fourth and final one is cash bonds, which is pretty much a thing where you go to your bank and you tell them, I want to send a cash bond to, I believe it's a treasury of some sort that you send it to. Either way, simply you give your you tell your bank you want to send this money to the treasury, this set amount of money, and that money you send away and you don't see for a year or more. But here's where the money comes in, is that you do get given back. I i don't know the exact percentage, but doing that does give you more money than what you initially send away. So like if you send away $1,000 and send it away for a year, then you're going to get more than just that $1,000 back when that year is up. Now, I believe the return rate can be more depending on if you send it away for a longer period of time than just a simple year, or like you send away something for 20 years, you're going to get way more of a return than just sending that same amount over just a year. But thing still stands, you send it away for an amount of time of your choosing. Now, the longer you do send it away for, the more will come back. But yeah, just you send it away, you don't get that money back until that time is up. Well, you can technically, but from my research, you do pay fees. There's some sort of little punishment towards your earnings if you do end up trying to cash it in early, like paying a fee or losing out on some of the interest that your cash bond accrued for the last leg you pulled it out from doing. Um, yeah. So mixing that in with savings accounts, cash back, the stock market, that is a really good way to make a lot of money without really, um, you know, being a bitch that buys out all retailers on Pokemon cards, or when Steam comes out with a new console, you buy out all of that damn controller for it. Well, Steam hasn't come out with the Steam machine yet. I don't know why I said it like that. They only came out with the controller, but for some reason, scalpers bought out all of the damn Steam controller. I don't like you scalpers. So instead of trying to put you down and shame you, um, I'm pretty much just making this video in a way to just try and tell you, hey, there's bigger money making methods than the bullshit you're getting up to. Especially ones that that if you're smart about, have way less risks. Well, not less risks, but have an equal amount of risk compared to scalping, but at the same time also have the opportunity to give way more return than scalping. I hope I got that point across, because I hate scalpers. Um, Money investing is something that, when you do your right research on, learn the effectiveness of it, learn the correct ways to use it, can equal a lot of different money returns. Now, I will say, is my video going to be like the end all be all way to, like, the guide to how to do these money investments? No, not at all. If any of my money investments that I mentioned are things that interest you, do a little bit more research before, so that way you can get a little bit more insight to the ins and outs of these different methods, because doing so will then help you be able to figure out which are the best ways to do it, like which banks to do these things with, or which businesses to do these with. Yeah. Anyway, I'd say that's pretty much it for my video, because I do want to also make another one. I want to record another video that's a whole different topic, but let me get to recording that, shall we?